Hey guys, how's it going? Professor Shuckle here, and I'm back with another Draft League video. This time I'll be covering our run for the LDI Invitational Tournament 2, which was held about a year ago. I took inspiration from Gypsy King, the king of Draft League, who recently uploaded his DPL Season 4 run, which was about 2 years ago. And since statistically, I believe this tournament is the best I've ever done in a tour, I thought it might be a cool idea to showcase some of the prep and plays I had during the tournament. This tournament was also really interesting in the fact that first, it was really big. It had 216 players. And the initial round was Swiss-style tournament, which was basically people with similar records play each other as you progress through the rounds. So obviously your schedule gets harder the more you win, and it culminated with a top 32 single elimination bracket. And to make top cut in this tournament, I believe you needed to do 6-2 or better. Obviously that's really hard, so which speaks about the tournament, that it was really competitive and had some good Pokemon, and I had a lot of fun. Also, this was Galar decks, which was kind of new at the time because most leagues and tours used to do national decks, which was a nice change of pace as well. And this was draft creation, not draft pools, which was also pretty cool. So yeah, I did record this like over a year ago, but I lost the recordings and my team, so I'm gonna redo this and hopefully make it quicker, because I won't be going in as much depth with the builds and stuff. So yeah, let's jump into it, starting with the draft. I decided to draft my a core of Latios, Clefable, Heatran, Rillaboom, Crobat, Galamoltris, Stunfisk, and Wishiwashi. For those who watch my DPL Season 4 run, this core of Latios, Clefable, Heatran, Rillaboom was one of the cores of one of our Sword and Shield teams, which was my favorite team, even though I only used it once. And I wanted to try out this core a little more, so I decided to draft it again. Obviously, it's a pretty solid Dragonfire Steel core with Rillaboom providing, grassy terrain recovery for Heatran and Clefable, as well as grassy seed options for Latios and Clef. That team had a Mega Pidgeot, but since there were no Megas in this draft board, I decided to replace Mega Pidgeot with Crobat plus Galamoltris, because, birds are epic. But no, I have Crobat for the speed, and Galamoltris as a breaker / Bidef wall. Stunfisk is the ground type that also doubles up as the electric and flying resist. And Wishiwashi is the bulky water. And I believe you were the only Wishiwashi user in the tournament, so woo! So yeah, without much further ado, let's jump into our round 1 game, where we're facing Turk, who I believe is using one of the teams from Mount Rushmore, Mon for Mon, in I believe DPL Season 5 happened just before this tournament, I believe, and I'm pretty sure this team was a Mount Rushmore team. So anyways, we are facing off against Melmetal, Vaporeon, Rotom Heat, Landorus T, Latios, and Galamoltris. Pretty scary team. I believe it had a Whimsicott and Golurk on the bench. As for ourselves, we're rocking up with leftovers Heatran with Flamethrower, Taunt, Toxic Rocks, mostly Spadef, to serve as a soft check to Galamoltris because the Clefable has to do Clefable things. And it's not a good check to Galamoltris. Taunt stops the Vaporeon from wishing, and we do eat flip turns pretty easily. Rocks, because rocks are good, and Toxic, because he doesn't really have a good Toxic swapping, right? So, yeah, that's the Heatran. Rillaboom, which is Sword Stance, Lumberry, Grassy Glide, Knockoff, and Superpower. Lumberry, just in case, so we can Sword Stance on the Vaporeon pretty easily. Yeah, even if, he clicks Called and gets the burn, we have the Lumberry for that as insurance. Grassy Glide just, is a broken move. Knockoff kills the Latios, and initially we want to click Knockoff into Sword Stance, because Rotom Heat is the most likely switch in here, and if we can knock it off and get a Rocks up, next time we Sword Stance on the Vaporeon, the Rotom Heat should be in range of Grassy Glide, and yeah, we should be able to take it off, keep our health, because we are a pretty bulky Rillaboom. So the only way he can revenge it is by going Gale Moltres, and that we have some soft pivots for. And endgame, obviously, we can try to do this again and win with Rillaboom. Next up, we have Latios, which is Choice Specs with Draco, Thunderbolt, Mystical Fire, Trick. This is a weird matchup for Latios, where it is kind of broken if he predict correctly, but obviously if we don't, we can let some scary things set up for sure. So initially we want to click Draco because there is no immunity, and try to figure out what the Melmetal set is, which is most likely going to be his switch in for Lottie, especially because he can keep it healthy with Wish, Flip Turn, Vaporeon. And once we figure out what the set is, we can obviously Trick to try and cripple that, which should also cover mid-grounds from his as well. So yeah, that's the Lottie. Draco is just pretty powerful and should be able to dent things pretty easily. Next up, we have Unaware Clefable. Spoiler alert, this is not the first time we're going to be running Unaware Clefable. And I know King L5 hates Unaware Clef, so I'm going to be calling him out a lot, I believe. But with Combine, Flamethrower, Moonblast, and Soft Boil, obviously Swish gave Clefable the nice gift of being able to run Soft Boil plus Unaware, and I intend on abusing that fact to the fullest. Pretty solid again, especially if we can dent the Melmetal early with Lottie, because once the Melmetal is in range of Flamethrower, Clefable clicks Combine once and kind of just wins. There's not really much he can do about it, maybe just Toxic from Vaporeon, but we should be able to dent things pretty quickly. We are Unaware in case, for Combine, Lottie, Unaware, Nasty Plot Rotom, which is, kind of annoying. Source Dance, Lando, Nasty Plot Wings. So Unaware just kind of covers that better. We do have Grassy Seed Recovery. So, it's not the end of the world. Sorry, not Grassy Seed Recovery, Grassy Terrain Recovery. And I believe we were leftovers. I don't think we were boots here. Next up, we have Gale Moltres, which is running Rest, Agility, and Stabs with the Chesto Berry. This is like one of our soft checks for Latios because of Clefable's Fist F for the Lando. Because, Lando's kind of scary versus us, so the Clefable's Fist F. And it kind of like between Rillaboom and having the terrain up, we should be able to kind of check it between Clefable and Wishiwashi, which I'll get to. But Wings here, again, is a pretty decent switch into like Vaporeon, his own Wings, Latios. Kind of soft checks them, and again, Fear Wrath plus Hurricane kind of has no resist. So it should be able to put in work, especially if we are able to Agility up safely. We can also, because we are bulky, we can eat hits, get Berserk, and then rest up, and then take another hit and get another Berserk boost to be like +2, and then really dent his team. So that's basically the idea behind Wings. Soft check to Lottie. And last we have Wishiwashi with the Rocky Helmet, which is our main Melmetal switch in, because especially initially, because we don't want to get bopped by like Thunder Wave or Earthquake right away from the Melmetal. So we have Rocky Helmets called U-Turn Rest Talk. Pretty common set, like pretty standard. So yeah, let's jump into it. As for leads, I decided Latios was just my best lead because there was no immunity. And if he leads Vaporeon, Rotom, or like Lando, I get to fire off a Draco for sure. So yeah, I decided to lead off with Lottie as he does lead with the Rotom. And I just decided to drop a Draco's, cut the Melmetal. It does 43 as he reveals not to be AV and he is Spidef leftovers. So here I swap into Wishiwashi as he clicks the Thunder Wave, so we do scat for that. And here I can fire off a free U-turn as he clicks Protect to get some leftovers back, so good play by him. But I believe I still U-turn because I was still slower than the Melmetal, and if he decides to like Double Iron Bash, he's going to take Helmet because he's not pads. And if he clicks Earthquake, we should be able to chew that up and then just, U-turn out into Heatran, and then but yeah, so I still click U-turn as he goes Vaporeon, so I'm able to get in my Rillaboom, which is what I said I would do to get the knockoff early. As I do click Knock as the Rotom comes in, That did 37, revealing that this Rotom is actually speed creeping my Rillaboom, so it's only just max HP and not max defense, which is really good to know because that knockoff did 37. So once I Sword Stance and rocks go up, this is dead to Grassy Glide. I don't really have to calculate. But here I decide to go into my Latios as he clicks Pain Split, which is not going to save him from the Specs Draco. So I click the trick expecting to swap into Melmetal, especially because terrain was up. So, you know, he gets 6% from leftovers plus another 6 from the terrain, and then he can protect to get another 12. But he decides to stay in, which I guess he calls me, or maybe he thought I would click like Mystical Fire or something. And clicks Thunder Wave, and we kind of get bailed because he misses. But we have tricked the Rotom the Specs, and he is locked into Thunder Wave, so I can make the safe pivot into Wishy-Washy as he goes into Melmetal. And here, I believe I just click U-turn again, but I get fully paired as he gets his leftovers back. And here, yeah, I just U-turn again as he clicks Earthquake. As you see, we chew up the Earthquake really easily, just 24. Not sure why it wasn't high horsepower given we had terrain, but maybe that's just a slight oversight. I'm able to get in my Heatran here and decide to click Rocks. Oh, actually, I clicked Flamethrower. I guess I got scared because he stayed in last time, so I really wanted to chip the Melmetal down for my Clefable. So I clicked Flamethrower. In comes the Vaporeon. Now I can just get up my Rocks because I know this thing's not going to do anything to me. As he does Flip Turn and only does 23. So, yeah, that's like not a lot of damage and leftovers back. And here I go into my Wishy-Washy as he clicks the Rocks again. And here I can click the U-turn again, not expecting the Lando to stay in and take a Skull. So the Vaporeon comes in and we can go into our Lottie this time and start to put some pressure. I believe I just clicked Thunderbolt here as he reveals the Protect. I believe I just clicked Thunderbolt again. I calling the Melmetal switch, I clicked Trick to get the leftovers back and take out Melmetal's passive recovery. And now I go into Wishy-Washy expecting the Thunder Wave or Double Iron Bash, but he makes a good play and clicks Earthquake. And unfortunately crits us and puts us in our baby form, which is kind of unfortunate because, you know, the first Earthquake did 24, so we would have lived the other one. And because of how schooling works, where it only activates at the end of the turn, we would have been able to rest up and immediately go to full. And, you know, be back at a good amount of health and easily take on this Melmetal and anything he has to offer. But he does crit us, which is a little unfortunate, and he's able to take us out. So I decided to go into Heatran. I do have my Rocks up, so I can, you know, just click Flamethrower pretty easily. I don't really need to protect, I don't really need to predict, I just take my damage. I click Flamethrower, it doesn't kill, but that is enough damage for Rocks. So unless he has Defog on Rotom or Lottie or Lando, that Melmetal is gone, which is pretty big. Which is really good for my Clefable, because now if I Calm Mind, it kind of be looking spooky. So yeah, I click the Flamethrower as the Melmetal Thunder Wave, and here expecting the Earthquake, I go into my Rillaboom. Even if he clicked Thunder Wave again, like predicting my swap, I had the Lumberry to cover that play. So this felt like a really safe pivot. As he goes Vaporeon, so this works out for us. I believe I just clicked Knockoff again. Yeah, and it does 33, and then I think Glide picks this off because this is max HP and not max defense. So yeah, we're able to get that off. In comes the Moltres. He reveals not to be Boot, so I believe I made the pivot into Heatran. But he double timed into Vaporeon, so good play by him. Probably trying to get a Wish up, but not trying to what because the Melmetal does die. But I just used this opportunity to Toxic the Vaporeon. Obviously I couldn't taunt him because he was faster, so he would get the Wish up. And here I decided to click Flamethrower. As I know he's going to Flip Turn, but I get fully paired. But here I don't really need Heatran for anything because the Vaporeon's Toxic. And the Melmetal is dead to Rocks. So I decided to just stay in and click Flamethrower in case he decides to set up. I was basically sacking him to go into Lottie or Rillaboom, but as he decides to click Sword Stance and gets burnt, which is really unfortunate, but as I said, we are Unaware Clefable, so my play after he clicked Sword Stance was to go into Rillaboom anyway, because he could not take another Flamethrower, right? So he was likely going to click Earthquake, so I can go into Rillaboom and eat that up with the Grassy Terrain activation, and then double into Clefable on the next hit to weaken Earthquake firstly, and so that if he has like U-turn or whatever, we can easily chew that up. So yeah, I go into Rillaboom as he clicks Earthquake. It does 12, so without the burn, it would have done 24, 25. So again, not a big deal. I would have gained 6% back. And then I could go into my Clefable, right? But here, he kind of knows the game is kind of over and forfeit. The burn was unfortunate, but I think I was still pretty favored from the spot. The Melmetal is dead to rocks. My Clefable gets in on like Vaporeon, or even just this Lando after I set the terrain, and I click Calm Mind because he's revealed Sword Stance and Rocks in Earthquake, so he needs a move to hit Latios, Clefable, Moltres, right? So it's either Edge or like Knock or U-turn. Actually, U-turn is really bad because it's just walled by Crobat, right? So it's probably like Knock or Edge. And our Clefable is max Fizz Def and with Grassy Terrain up. It's gonna eat that up and should be able to Calm Mind really easily on this. And then all I need to do is spam Moonblast too, so even the Latios trick shouldn't deter me too much. Obviously I could get like crit or hacks, so I guess that could be his way out. But I feel like at this point I have more pieces that could win than him. Although he hasn't revealed a Latios, so it could obviously be some Demon Latios that just beats me. Especially if Clefable gets crit, I suppose. But I don't know. I feel like I have this game, but I think he just rage quit because of the burn. He thought I hacked him, which I am sorry for, but I don't know. I feel like the game was open and definitely in my favor, but again, you know, it's Pokemon. But yeah, we take that. I guess we take a nice 5-0, which definitely helps because, you know, you play people with similar records, so differential also, I think, kind of plays into it. Not sure, though. But yeah, I'm going to pause real quick, and I'll be back with a round 2 in a bit. I'm back with a round 2, and this time our opponent is Nova, who I haven't heard of before, actually, and who has a pretty interesting team of Mew, Celesteela, Kyurem, Type Null, Landorus T, Starmie. Obviously, a lot of threats on that team. Mew, Sally, Kyurem for sure. Lando is a huge pain, as we know. And Starmie, surprisingly, was also a really huge pain with like Meteor Beam sets. Like Analytic Meteor Beam just kind of, you know, is a real pain to swap into. And obviously, Analytic Ice Beam hurts as well. I believe we had a Ribombee on the bench, and I don't remember what the other one was. I think it was a Torracat. But anyway, let's jump into the team we have for this one. We have a really defensive Rillaboom because I just thought Rillaboom's matchup was really bad with like Sally, Kyurem. Right, just like Sally, Kyurem in itself was really bad, so it felt like offensive Rillaboom was not going to do much, and instead it was better as like a pivoting knockoff Disruptor. So I'm pretty bulky with heavy duty boots, just because, you know, Mew can spike up and stuff. And we're running knockoff Grassy Glide, Lead Seed, and U-turn. Pretty defensive, bulky. He also has no grass type, so Lead Seed is pretty free. So we can come in on the Lando. This is like our Lando check. Kind of our Lando check. And obviously like our type node check and stuff as well. Next up, we have Dual Dance, Moltres with Rest and Chesterberry and Fury Wrath. So Nasty Plot, Agility, Rest, Fury Wrath. He doesn't really have a Dark Resist on his team, and I have Heatran for the Ribombee, so I didn't expect it would come. And even if it came, I don't think it would beat Moltres just because its SpDef is so high. We are really SpDef invested to take on the Starmie and stuff pretty well. and like special Mew. And because there is no dark resist, that's all we needed. And we should be able to chunk stuff after a nasty plot for sure. So hopefully this can put in work. Next up, we have a weakness policy. Ladio is pretty bulky with Calm Mind, Mystical Fire, Dragon Pulse, and Roost. Obviously, our target is like a U-turn type null or like Ice Beam Starmie. Ice Beam from Kyurem once we know it's not like Scarf and we figured the set out. Knockoff from Mew or something. And it's just there to like put pressure. It can obviously win as well because his, fairy is Ribombi, so his resists are not really good for Dragon as well. Um, so yeah, and Mystical Fire covers the Sally and weakens it as well, which is really good. Next up, we have a Double Dance Clefable as well, which is Calm Mind, Cosmic Power, Moonblast, and Soft Boil. Mainly the plan is that we should be able to chip down the Sally with Rillaboom with like Knock, Lead Seed, and stuff, and then going into Wishy Washy or Heatran and set up the Clefable for the end game later. Cosmic Power just helps us like boost fast, be able to live hits easier. We are really spit off because we didn't really have anything for like Specs Curum otherwise, Specs Freeze Dry. So I figured this was just, Clefable's a Curum check, but also I didn't really feel like I needed a way to hit Sally. And I thought Cosmic Power is just better, and then Calm Mind, Moonblast, and kind of just go through the team. It is Unaware as well, because, there are threats that can set up for sure. And it's Boots as well, just to, because he has a lot of hazard. Next up, we have a Sugarberry Heatran, pretty offensive, but also bulky. Sugarberry for, like, the Auto Sally Physical, or Earth Power Curum, like, it works for that as well. We're running Lava Plume, Flash Cannon, Taunt, and Rocks, I believe. I might be Flamethrower, Flash Cannon. Stab, Rocks, Taunt is, I believe, our set. Taunt's really good for like Sally, Lead Seed if it's defensive, Type Null Rest. Mew if it's like, setting up, we can taunt him so he cannot recover. And yeah, Rocks are always good to know if the Curum's Boots or not, even though Starmie has a pretty free spin, I think, but And lastly, we have Wishy-Washy, which is, again, Fizz-Def. Should check, like, Type Null and stuff with Rest Talk, U-Turn, Scald. Again, just pivoting into stuff because we should have the slowest U-Turn. So, yeah, let's jump into it. I decided to lead off with Lottie again as he leads off the Type Null. And scouting for the Toxic, I go into Wishy-Washy as he does click Toxic, and here I can click the U-Turn as he does click his own U-turn and takes the Rocky Helmet, which is really good for us. He goes Curum, so I'm able to U-turn, and I go Heatran. I don't click Rocks immediately, just in case, he decides to stay in and click Earth Power. So I click the Flash Cannon, and I believe I get like a pretty low or min roll on this Curum, which is kind of annoying, because it did want this out, because Curum is a huge threat. But I believe I just go Clefable here, because I don't think he couldn't click Ice Beam to kill me, so he's either clicking like Roost or Earth Power, and I thought Clefable covered that. And here I just fire off the Moonblast just in case he decides to Roost as he goes into Type Null, so we're able to get some more chip on this. He clicks Toxic again, so I don't want to get my Clefable Toxic, so I can go into Wishy-Washy and U-Turn. Here, when my U-Turn went first, I was like, wait, what did you do? I thought this got counter for some reason, but I was like, oh, he's clicking Roar. So I believe I wanted to go into Rillaboom to set the terrain because I knew I was getting roared out. And I get roared out into Lottie. And here I misclicked. I meant to go Wishy-Washy because I knew he was either clicking Toxic or U-Turn. So I could get the Rocky Helmet damage on him to bring him down to like 50%. But also get some health back on my Wishy-Washy because it's just pivoting at the moment. But I kind of need to keep him healthy as well. But I misclick and go into Rillaboom, and I didn't really want to reveal my Rillaboom set at the moment. But he U-turns and he crits me. Crit doesn't matter, but what matters is that he should know I'm really, really bulky because that did no damage. And I was really like a little tilted by this because I don't really want to reveal my Rillaboom at the moment. In comes the Sally, also because of this, right? If I U-turn into Wishy-Washy, you can only go Kyurem, which like I can decide like actually I don't know if Kyurem is worse or Sally, but like I don't know. I felt just getting the more Rocky Helmet chip on Typenol and keeping my Rillaboom set a secret was probably better. But I guess this does prevent the Kyurem from coming in. In comes the Sally, and I click the lead seed, expecting like his own lead seed. As he clicks the auto, so I was like, okay, cool. Now I can just go into Wishy Washy, I believe, to scout for what move he is. As he clicks auto again, I guess because maybe he was pretty bulky and didn't have a lot of speed, and he wanted to outspeed everything for sure. I go into Wishy Washy, and I can click. I believe I just click Scald, just to see what he had. Because obviously he needs a move for Heatran, right? Like if he's, he definitely needs like heavy. He needs a steel move for Clef, and he needs something for Heatran. And then I thought he would probably have like flying move for Rillaboom or fire move. So I didn't know if he would have coverage for Wishy Washy, and I thought Wishy Washy might wall the Sally. And as you can see, the Giga Drain only does 35. So and because of the lead seed, we do get recovery back. And if we get a Scald Burn, then we can do more, chip on this Sally. Which, but yeah, here I believe I just click rest, because the Giga Drain was not killing me, and I can get back to health. In comes the Starmie, I go into Rillaboom expecting like Thunderbolt. As he does click Thunderbolt and reveals the Life Orb, which is definitely scary, but here he has to scout for the Grassy Glide. As I do click the Grassy Glide because I didn't actually take an Ice Beam from Life Orb Starmie. So I do click the Glide as he goes into Lando to get the Intimidate off and takes the Grassy Glide pretty well. And now he should know I am no attack Rillaboom because I did no damage to Lando, right? And here I believe I click Knock or Lead Seed, I believe I click Lead Seed expecting Rocks or U-Turn. So I click Lead Seed as he does click U-Turn and be able to chew that up, and I can Lead Seed up and get some more health back, and then U-Turn out. And this time I go into Latios, expecting the Giga Drain, but he makes a really good play and clicks Heavy Slam, which is kind of annoying because I'm forced to Roost right here. And here, though, I call him out that he's not going to click Toxic because every time he's clicked Toxic into my Wishy Washy. So basically, this time, I know my Wishy Washy is asleep, so if he clicks Toxic, he loses a lot of momentum, and he lets my Wishy Washy burn a rest turn as well. And if I get U-turn on the Sleep Talk, then he's losing momentum again. So this time, I thought he was going to click U-turn and not Toxic. So I click the Combine as he does click the U-turn and activates a Weakness Policy. And now since we've Combined it up, we can take the Starmie hits on. I thought it would do a little less, like I thought the lower roll was like 46 or something, but then realized that it was a losing battle in trying to Combine up. Like trying to stall this out, so I just Dragon Pulse and take my kill and get rid of Starmie, which was definitely a threat with Life Orb, Ice Beam, Thunderbolt actually putting in some work. In comes the Kyurem. I wanted to know if it was Scarf or not, so I didn't scout here because I didn't think my Lottie would be able to set up again. So I decided to know if this was Scarf or not, as he does reveal to be Scarf. So I used this to go into my Wings, because obviously he is Scarf, so he knows he will not kill me. And he cannot click Freeze Dry into Potential Weakness Policy. So I used this opportunity to just Agility up. And here's where I wished I went into Wishy Washy, because this would be lower. So I clicked the plot, hoping he might click Toxic, but he makes a good play and roars out, which is fine, as I'm roared out into Wishy Washy, so I can burn Rest Turn. As I click the Scald on, well, I click Sleep Talk, get lucky, rolled Scald. Didn't really matter what I rolled, because Scald or U-Turn was really good, as long as I rolled one of them. So I click Scald, I get Scald, which is good. I click Sleep Talk again and get Rest this time. Not a big deal, I can click Scald again, or I clicked Rest, I'm not sure. I believe I just clicked Scald again. Oh, I clicked U-Turn, and I can go into my Heatran here, and here I believe I clicked the Rocks yeah. So now that I know the Kuramis scarf, I decided to use this opportunity to get up my rocks. If he killed me with the Sally, I could go into wings later. So yeah, that's basically it. In comes the Titanal. I decided to just get Chip on this. I know he doesn't have anything to hit me as he clicks U-turn, and it's gonna take more rocks later. In comes the Mew. Here I should have clicked. Oh, I did click Taunt, so just to stop him from setting up. But he is DD, which is a little scary. I go into Clefable and basically choke, uh, thinking that he might not have a move for me, or like he's high horsepower Psychic Wings or something that I can Cosmic Power up and then Soft Boil. But he reveals the Iron Tail, so I do not get the chip on him. So I go into my Wishy-Washy now to get some Rocky Helmet chip on him, as that's what I do. And here I can U-turn out as he just clicks high horsepower again and takes more Rocky Helmet chip. And right now my only hope is that, because given he's DD, I'm pretty sure it's going to be triple axle. And if he hits all three, my Moltres dies. So at this point, my hope was I go into Rillaboom and basically force him out if he didn't calc. And that's what happens, because he should have known I was no investment and not switched his Mew out, because I believe he even lived a crit from Rillaboom. Or maybe not, but basically he thought I was like Miracle Seed or something and I could kill him with Glide. So he swaps out, which works out in my favor as I'm able to Glide and force out the Mew. And now I can just take out this Type Null, which opens up my Moltres if I'm able to Agility up. In comes Sally. I click Knockoff to get rid of the lefties, as he clicks Heavy Slam and doesn't kill us, which is epic. And here I can click I click Glide just to take it out again, just to take out the Sally. In comes Lando. I believe I clicked U-turn here so that I can reset the terrain. Oh, I clicked Lead Seed, okay, just to get a recovery, but he makes a really good play and sacks the Current. And in comes the Mew. Here, I know he can DD up, and his last move is probably a triple axle, so he doesn't have recovery. So my thought was, if he doesn't DD, then my Moltres lives a triple axle, and if he does DD, I can U-turn into my Clefable, sack it off, and then come back and Glide will kill this. So I decided to click U-turn here as he reveals the triple axle and hits both of them, which is fine, because now I can go into my Moltres and click Agility, because I do live a triple axle, as you see. Well, obviously I would have died if it was +1. So I get the Berserk boost and I Agility up, and now I can click the Fury Wrath and take this out. In comes the Lando, and here I wasn't sure if it was worth risking the Stone Edge crit or not, because I could rest up, eat the Stone Edge, get the Berserk boost, and kill him for sure. Or I could click Fury Wrath, because I wasn't sure if I killed this or not, I believe. I thought it was a roll. So I was like, I'm not sure if I should risk the crit or not. In hindsight, I should have definitely risked the crit, because the odds of that are really low, given he has to hit Stone Edge first, and then crit as well. So, but I decided to just go for Fury Wrath here. Maybe I was still tilted or not, thinking that well. But obviously, it doesn't even come close to killing. So, I really miscalculated this Lando bulk for sure. But we do get lucky and get the flinch, which basically means we win. So, yeah. This was definitely cheesed by me. No other way about it. I did have a better play. I did have Resto Chesto. So I believe 100% my correct play was to rest and eat up the Stone Edge, I believe is what he had. And because obviously my Clefable died to Earthquake, so I couldn't win with that. So yeah, I believe that was my play. And I definitely choked that endgame, but I got lucky because Wings decided to flinch. And yeah, so we take our round 2 game 2-0, which is definitely good because, taking a loss when you should have won, like, even though I choked, I kind of got bailed, which is really good for me so that I can progress in the tournament, because obviously if I'm 1-1, the pressure is different, because if you lose one more, then basically you are in, like, elimination every single round, but now I have more breathing room. So that's pretty cool. Definitely some cool prep by my opponent. I don't really know who he was before, but he had some really cool prep. He was wide lens Mew, so he didn't miss any moves. So, and if he had calced my Rillaboom, I believe he would have won the game. So actually, he also choked by switching out his Mew. So he had the win and he didn't take it. So that's kind of a lesson too. But yeah, I'm gonna pause here for a bit, and I'll be right back with the round 3 battle. Alright, we're back with a round 3 game, and our opponent for this is Zern, who's a really good player. And it's kind of like lucky for me, I guess, to get to play such a good player early. And obviously, he has a pretty scary team as well. A really unconventional team, but scary nonetheless. He's rocking up with the Necrozma, Tapu Koko, Alolan Ninetales, Arctozolt, Hawlucha's Zygarde, and he also had a Gyarados and Lilligant on his team. So he definitely had a bunch of scary threats on his team for sure. And for those who don't know, I don't know what the Lilligant does. So, if he brought it, I would have lost for sure. But he didn't bring it, so we have a chance. Anyway, for this week, we have a pretty fun team. Spoiler alert, this is the only game where I bring Magikarp Clefable, and this is probably the game where Unaware Clefable makes the most sense, but also he definitely has a lot of he definitely has a lot of techs he could do for Unaware Clef, even though it's like the most obvious thing to bring here. So we're not bringing Unaware Clefable, surprise. But anyway, let's jump into a team which I believe it was I thought it was a really good build. Starting off, we have Soldier Lottie with Agility, Draco, Psyshock, and Reflect. His team doesn't really have anything for Lottie stabs. I was initially Mystical Fire, but then I figured I didn't really need it because his Psychic resist was Necrozma. So, just Psyshock was just really free to spam, and then Necrozma died to Draco, so he would have to come into Necro and then swap out into like Coco or Ninetales. So yeah, I just thought Latios was just really good, and Reflect, I didn't really feel like I needed Mystical Fire or Aura Sphere for the Arctozolt, because I thought Reflect gave me more for the team that I had. Next up, we have Choice Banded Rillaboom, because his only grass resist was Hawlucha, which doesn't really like taking the Banded Glide anyway. And it just felt like a good revenge tool for like Arctozolt and Necrozma and, like set up Zygarde and stuff. So we had Choice Band, Grassy Glide, Woodhammer, Darkest Lariat in case the Necrozma is like some crazy setup set, and U-Turn. But most likely we're going to be clicking like Grassy Glide. We are slower than everything, so I don't think I'll ever click Woodhammer. But yeah, Rillaboom's still pretty solid. Definitely revenges things I needed to. Next up, we have a Rocky Helmet Flame Body Heatran, running Rocks, Lava Plume, Roar, and Endure, or was it Sleep Talk? I don't remember, but I definitely know it was Rocks, Lava Plume, and Roar. This is our Arctozolt switch in, it's our best way of like spreading burns, because his team doesn't really appreciate burns, so Flame Body plus Lava Plume is really good for that. Roar to prevent setup. Rocks are really good, so that we can know if the Arctozolt and Ninetales are boots or like the Icy Rock or Light Clay or, some boosting item. If I had Sleep Talk, it would be for Hypnosis Ninetales, and if I had Endure, it was just to get more Rocky Helmet chip plus burn chances on the Arctozolt. Also, clicking Endure weakens Bolt Beak, which is really cool. Next up, our Clefable, which is Life Orb, Calm Mind, Moonblast, Break, Soft Boil. It's modest, but max HP, max Fistaff to take on hits better from like Hawlucha and Arctozolt and stuff. He doesn't have a Fairy Resist on his whole like draft, even like from the bench. So I just thought Life Orb Moonblast was just crazy. I didn't feel like being unaware and taking like Hail Chip plus Rocks. Also because Photon Geyser from Necrozma ignores Unaware. Wallbreaker Hawlucha ignores Unaware. Bolt Beak still hurts. And Ninetales gets Encore, so which I thought was gonna come in this for sure. So I didn't really feel like I would be able to set up as easily, or only be able to combine once and not be able to win. So I felt like I needed to break as quickly as possible, because basically what I think was if I brought balance or bulky offense to this game, I would lose because his breakers are just way better than mine. So I kind of had to match his offense with my own, and that's basically what I did. So even though Unaware Clefable seems like a lock versus this team, I decided that Magic Guard Life Orb was better given he had no resist. So this is why I wanted to showcase that even though this matchup seems like, I should be playing a more defensive build, I went with more offense just to make the matchup like seem more favorable for me, basically. Next up, we have a Choice Scarf Bulky Crobat with Brave Bird, Cross Poison, Heat Wave, and Haze. Basically, I didn't know what to do with Crobat. Basically, my last 3 mons were all really bad because Moltres, like Galar Moltres, didn't really do much here. Crobat obviously also doesn't really do much here. And Wishy Washy, which, there's a Coco and Arctozolt and Ninetales, like, what are you going to do? So I didn't know what to do, so I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to put a Scarf Crobat in case he thinks he can be greedy with Howlucha, and that way I can cover it. And if he has like any, DD Zygarde or whatever, I can just spam Haze or whatever to try and keep it in check in case things get out of hand. So yeah, that's basically my Crobat. It was basically a throwaway mon. It's my most expendable member. I don't really know what to do with him. As for Stunfisk, we're running Curse, Earthquake, Discharge, Toxic, I believe, with Weakness Policy. Basically, I don't know how to stop Zygarde with my Stunfisk, like Zygarde from setting up, given I was not Unaware Clef. So I was like, the only way I could think of was I should be able to Curse out pretty freely once, and then I should not die to a hit from full. And most of the hits will activate my Weakness Policy. And yeah, I should just be able to take out, because again, he doesn't really have good swap-ins to Stunfisk either, because his team's like super offensive. So yeah, I figured this was just the best way of doing it, and I should be able to bring it in on like Coco or Arctozolt after Heatran's dead, and be able to Curse up. It is also defensive, so it still just does its job, but I just wanted it not to be Zygarde setup fodder, so I put Curse Earthquake on there with Weakness Policy. But yeah, let's jump into it. As for leads, I was going to lead Clefable no matter what, because you didn't have fair resist, as I said. So yeah, I lead off Clefable as he leads off the Necrozma. Expecting rocks, I click Calm Mind. And here I decided to click Moonblast in case the Ninetales comes in hard, which it does, and I click the Moonblast and it does 67. So even if it clicks Whale, we should be able to take this out right away, meaning Whale will only be set up once during this game. Here I just go into Heatran. I guess I could have gone into Stunfisk because Bolt Beak was pretty obvious, but I don't know, I feel like I just autopiloted into Heatran, but I do get lucky, and I believe I get the burn, which is pretty epic because I do live the Bolt Beak. A little unfortunate for him to get it on the first attempt, but I did have another attempt with the rocks, like another attempt at Flame Body, because all his moves do make contact. But definitely getting it on the first turn helps me because I'm able to get up rocks as he does not kill me, which is, well, the hail does, but he doesn't kill me, so I'm able to get up my rocks. And I can go into my Stunfisk here. I thought he would swap, but I guess given that Ninetales was dead and, he was burned, he would stay in. So I should have probably just clicked Earthquake here, but I did click Curse, maybe thinking the Zygarde would come in hard, or Necrozma. But he does click Icicle Spear, gets 4 hits, which is a little annoying, but not the end of the world. I did get the burn, so I don't really mind. He clicks Crash here, and it does 20. Actually, I thought he would just have Crash, so I thought it wouldn't do as much, but he did click Spear and got 4 hits, which is like 40%, compared to Crash, which did 20, so, I'd be at 20% higher. But I'm able to take out the Arctozolt, so that's one threat gone. In comes Necrozma. I just clicked Toxic here, didn't want this to set up, even though I felt like this would be defensive, given this is his best Latios response on the team. And here I go into Rillaboom just to click the Banded Glide. Didn't really know what else to do, because I didn't know if Latios would kill this in case it was like pretty bulky, because I haven't hit it yet. And like, yeah, I didn't want to go into Clefable and like Bat didn't do anything, so I just went into Rillaboom, set the terrain, and clicked the Banded Glide. As he goes into Coco, resets the terrain and eject buttons out into Howlucha. He's not Seed, and he wasn't Mold Breaker either, so I wasn't sure what he was. Um, but I decided to just go into my Crobat. I think it was just Banded. Banded Limber, Banded Unburden. I'm not sure what his ability was because he wasn't Mold Breaker. Um, so I go to my Crobat as he clicks Brave Bird and kills me. I didn't really calc this. I just assumed Band. Right? So I don't know if the crit mattered. I guess if he wasn't banned, it would have mattered, but I didn't really know. So, but I can go into Clefable. I do love a banded hit from it. So I click the Moonblast as he sacks Coco. In comes the Necrozma. I definitely want to chip on this for Latios because now if I can click Agility and keep this in range of like Psy Shock, it would be really good. So yeah, I click Moonblast. He reveals another eject button. So I guess his plan was to eject button into Arctozolt and keep pressure up. But my offensive build kind of just ruined that thing. So here he eject buttons on into Zygarde. I mean, here I definitely knew he had Iron Tail or Sludge Ray for my Clefable, but I wasn't sure what. I didn't want to swap on a Zygarde for sure because it is a threat. He revealed Iron Tail and killed me, and I was like really surprised because when I looked, Adamant didn't kill unless he was banded. So I thought he was banded, but Expert Belt also had a roll to kill. Or yeah, I think Expert Belt had a roll to kill. But in my mind, I thought it was banded because I wasn't really calcing. So I went into Latios and decided to make a really aggressive play here because the Necrozma was low and click Agility. So basically I expected the Necrozma sack on the Draco and then for him to go into Hawlucha and click Banded Brave Bird. And this way he could keep the Zygarde healthy for the Rillaboom Glide and be able to like Banded Outrage it or Banded Skittle Smack it. So that's what I think he would do. So I decided to click Agility, and this works out because now I can Side Shock the Necrozma because it was in range, and I knew he was not cut stop because we really eject button. In comes the Zygarde, and I can click the Draco here. As long as I don't miss, I should win the game because he cannot really double into Hawlucha because that will also die to Draco, so he doesn't really have a play here other than to dodge Draco, which I don't. I hit. The Zygarde's gone, and even if Side Shock doesn't kill this, it should be enough for Grassy Glide to kill, but Latios is strong and Hawlucha is now bulky, so Side Shock is able to take out the Hawlucha, and we're able to win this 2-0 as well. I was really happy with this. I thought my approach to this matchup was really clever, because I feel like it would have made sense to be like bulky or balance here, but I just felt I didn't have the pieces to win this matchup without going super HO, which is not really my style. But because you saw my previous teams, which are really bulky setup, with like Clefable like being the glue piece. But here I just felt like his offensive threats were just too strong versus my team to be able to do that. Also, I felt like I was playing 5v6 because I thought my 6th slot was basically useless. So yeah, I thought it was a pretty fun game. I really enjoyed this. I feel like this is one of like my better victories so far. So yeah, definitely enjoyed this, and I'm gonna pause right here, and I'll be back for our round 4 in a bit. Alright, we're back for the round 4. We're facing Istanbuldayim, who has a pretty interesting team. He's pulling up with the Garchomp, Tapu Koko, Bronzong, Salazzle, Mandibuzz, and Primarina. And I believe he had Sock on the bench, which was actually pretty scary as well. And I think Gourgeist. I'm not sure what the last one was. But it's a pretty scary team. Yeah, we're rocking up, as for ourselves, we're rocking up with the Assault West Wishy-Washy, which is our Primarina check, because we don't really have a swap for Primarina on the team. Also, I was Assault West because, you know, people were still doubting Wishy-Washy, even though I felt like Wishy-Washy had been putting in the work with like U-turning for me whenever I needed. So here, I decided to try and make Wishy-Washy get a kill. So I was also AV to kind of maybe stay in on Coco and, you know, click Earthquake and take it out, hopefully. It also serves as a good check to Salazzle. And Skull's really nice here, for sure, with, like, you know, spreading burns, and the only swap in is Primarina. So, yeah, we're running flip turns called Ice Beam and Earthquake. pretty good coverage versus the team. I do believe we had some investment, I believe, to like kill Coco after rocks with Earthquake, but yeah, pretty like mostly SPDF to check the Primarina because you know Specs Primarina is a threat. Next up we have Choice Card Latios, just basically to ensure we don't lose to +1 Garchomp. And to give us speed control here because he does have a lot of really fast mons. We're running Psyshock, Shadow Ball, Thunderbolt, and Ice Beam. Once the Bronzong is out of the way, which I expect to be the Latios check because Mandibuzz will probably be used to check the Rillaboom, we should be able to do pretty well with Latios. We should be able to like definitely revenge stuff with Psyshock as once the Bronzong and Mandibuzz are out of the way. Next up we have Clefable, which is Kibia Berry Unaware. Not for the Garchomp, but for Sock actually, which has Mold Breaker in case it was like, you know, offensive poison jab. So I just put Kibia on there just in case. And we're running Moonblast, Wish, Soft Boiled, and Heal Bell. Heal Bell's really important because, you know, he has Bronzong and Salazzle that do threaten to spread Toxic to the whole team. Soft Boil is for its own recovery. Wish was just so I could bring in my Wishy-Washy safely and keep it healthy throughout the game. Because obviously I really wanted Wishy-Washy to do well here. I felt like it had a pretty decent matchup, but obviously just because I couldn't be rest given there was electric terrain, I didn't know how to keep it healthy. So I decided to run Wish Clefable just for the Wishy-Washy. Next up, we have a Miracle Seed Offensive Rillaboom with Grassy Glide, Knockoff, U-Turn, and Drum Beating. I believe I kind of messed up my Rillaboom's speed here a little bit. I should have made it so after Drum Beating I was faster than Salazzle Creeping Latios, which isn't too hard. But I think I just made it like max HP, max attack as I usually did. But it's really good here. It definitely revenges Garchomp, Coco, Primarina, and knocks off the Bronzong, Salazzle, Mandibuzz. So it was really good. It's just we need to knock off and keep rocks up as usual because he does have a lot of rock weaknesses and there's only, well, I guess Mandibuzz can defog on the Rillaboom, so, but hopefully we can keep up rocks and knock off the boots and then we should be able to, you know, apply pressure constantly with the pivoting we have. Next up we have Heatran with the Shuka Berry and Nature Power, which because both the terrains hit the Primarina hard. Lava Plume, Dragon Pulse, and Taunt, I believe. Yeah, just offensive Heatran does really good here, especially if terrain's up, because Primarina is not a safe swap-in, for sure. And if you can get taunts off as well, it's really annoying for like Mandibuzz and Bronzong and stuff. And next up we have Stunfisk with the Rocky Helmet to punish the Coco U-turns. We're running Rocks, Earthquake, Toxic, and Endeavor, I believe. Yeah, I don't know why I'm not running Discharge. I feel like I should be, but I don't know why I'm running Endeavor. I couldn't tell you. It's been a while, but yeah, basically it's just a Coco check. It's pretty decent check to Salazzle and Bronzong as well. So yeah, let's jump into it. I believe it just led Stunfisk here to try and get up my rocks early. But I get the lead wrong as he does lead Primarina, so I go into my Wishy-Washy immediately. As he clicks the Moonblast, and that is Specs because we are AV pretty SPDF. So I decided to just click Flip Turn here. If he did click Moonblast again, we would be in a rough spot, but we would get the momentum into Rillaboom, I guess, which is pretty solid. So I Flip Turn as he goes into Coco, and we're able to go right into Stunfisk and get up our rocks as we wanted. In comes the Chomp. I thought he was going to click rocks here, so I decided to click Toxic, make a bit of an aggressive play. Also, given that I have Rillaboom, I expected him to be Tantrum and not Earthquake. So he clicks SD here, so I can just go into Clefable here. I do have the Kibia Berry, and he doesn't have the Sock, so I don't really need the Kibia, because, I mean, I don't need to save it for the Salazzle, because I don't really have a way of hitting him. Because my only move is Moonblast, which is 4 times resisted. So here, I believe I click Wish, as the Salazzle comes in and reveals to be Black Sludge, not Boots, which is really good. And here, I decided to go into Wishy-Washy. I thought he would click Toxic or Sludge Wave here. But he clicks the knockoff and gets my Wishy-Washy, which was really sad. In prep, I told myself I would scat for this, but I guess in the heat of the moment, I didn't really think he was gonna click knockoff there because I already reeled Unaware Clefable, right? So I thought Toxic was coming to cover the obvious like Stunfisk or Heatran or whatever. Uh, so now knockoff was definitely a little upsetting to see, but not the end of the world because we do get a free flip turn here. Um, I click flip turn, but he clicks protect to get some Black Sludge recovery, I guess. So here I decide to click Scald to fish for a burn. As in comes the Mandy, also reeling not to be boots, so these rocks are definitely putting in work. And I also get the burn, so go Wishy-Washy. And here I can just U-turn, or sorry, flip turn, because I didn't know what he would do. If he tried to click like Defog or something, we'd be able to punish that. But he just clicks Roost to stay healthy, so I go into Heatran to, you know, I decided to go Heatran and not Clefable, because Clefable was just a free Salazzle or Bronzong, because I didn't really have ways of hitting them. While Heatran kind of prevented that, so I decided to just go for Lava Plume. Like, in case the Primarina came in, because the terrain was not up, so I didn't feel like, I mean, it was my best way of hitting, actually, I guess Nature Power become Tri-Attack, so it's technically better. But I decided to just click, you know, Flame Lava Plume. As in comes the Heatran. Here, I do have my Shukai intact, and I know he's Tantrum, so it's weaker, so I just decided to go in for Dragon Pulse. As he goes into Heatran, and this kind of screams that he is Heat-proof, not Levitate, and is like, you know, Earthquake. So I decided to go into Rillaboom, as he does click Earthquake, so, you know, just weaken that, chew that up. And here, I believe I can click the knockoff. As I do get a crit, doesn't really matter. I get rid of the helmet, so now I can spam flip turn with Wishy-Washy freely. I click drum beating here, and unfortunately do not kill, but he clicks U-turn, which is really good for us. I guess he was didn't want to lose momentum by clicking Roost. So that works out nicely for us because the Manibus is now dead unless the Coco is defog, which is really good. In comes the Salazzle, and here, not wanting to risk a Sludge Wave, I go into my Wishy-Washy. As he clicks the Toxic this time, which is fine. I wanted to flip turn out, but here, predicting the Protect, I go into Heatran as he does click Protect. So that works out for us. And here, I just believe I click Lava Plume again as he sacks off the Mandibuzz. Actually, this time I click Nature Power, because I guess that's the best way of me hitting Primarina. In comes the Primarina, and I go back into Wishy-Washy. And now the Hydro Pump does 30% because the AB is gone. But I can flip turn out again as he stays in this time to Hydro Pump. And we're able to do 17%. So chip down the Primarina, which is basically what we want to do, is chip everything down in Lottie range so we can just win with the Scarf Lottie endgame. Or to get the knockoff on Salazzle, and then he's basically dead. So basically that's how we win, because Rillaboom is definitely looking really good here. Here, I believe I click knockoff as he makes a really good mid-ground and goes into Coco, resets the terrain. But here, I know I'm at full, and Coco can't really do much to me, so I decided to just click U-turn out. So U-turn out into Heatran, which is... and I can fire off a free... I fire off the free Lava Plume in case the Coco stayed in, because I had already shown the Nature Power, so I wasn't sure what he would go into. But I guess Garchomp's a really good play because I wouldn't click Dragon Pulse on the Coco. So, fair enough. Here, I decided to keep my Heatran healthy just for the Coco, just in case. So I'm going to Rillaboom as he makes an aggro play and clicks Poison Jab. So he kind of gets me. I thought he would click Tantrum or double into Bronzong again. So I thought Rillaboom covered that, but he gets me with the aggro play. A little risky on my end, but not the end of the world. I decided to just click Glide this turn because I didn't want to, you know, get over predicted. So I click Glide as he goes into Salazzle, and Glide still does a good chunk of damage, which is good. But with the terrain up, the Salazzle is able to heal up with the Black Sludge. So I decided to swap out again into Stunfisk. As he clicks Sludge Wave, I guess he didn't want to risk me clicking Knockoff and taking out his Stunfisk. Here, I click Earthquake because, you know, that was my best attacking move, and even the terrain's up. I was definitely Earthquake for Calm Coco as well, by the way, in case people are wondering. And here I decided to click Toxic, thinking he would go into Primarina, but he gets me with the Reed, which is fair. And here, I believe I clicked Earthquake. Oh, I doubled into Heatran. Not really sure what I expected. Maybe the Bronzong. But yeah, I double into Heatran, but he doubles into Primarina, so I sack off my Wishy-Washy here as he clicks Call, so I'm able to go into Latios and just click a free Shadow Ball because he's locked into Scald, so he cannot do much to me. He reveals to be the Kasib, and I'm able to get a crit, which is good because we're able to chip this Bronzong down a little more. But he's finally able to set up his rocks, but here I can click the freest Earthquake because he doesn't have a resist. Because I expected this to be heat proof, which he is. So I'm able to click Earthquake and do good damage, and now I can take him out with the Earthquake, and die in the process, which I guess is really good for me because I get to bring in my Latios for free. Also, his Bronzong was faster than my Stunfisk. That's crazy. Oh, Bronzong's naturally faster. Never mind. Okay. So I didn't just mess up my speed. I thought he was like NASCAR Bronzong, but Bronzong and Stunfisk are just that slow, I guess. But here I decided to go into Latios because it covered the Salazzle and Coco swap, like switch-ins on the double down. I really expected Salazzle to come out here, but in case he called out my Heatran and went Primarina, I thought Latios was a little better because it definitely like pressured the most. So I decided to go into Latios as he goes Salazzle, so I get that read right, and I can just fire off a free Psyshock here. Everything gets to it KO'd at this point by Psyshock. So he sacks off the Garchomp, which is fine. He goes into Coco, which I don't kill yet, and I didn't really want to get crit by Dazzling Gleam, even though I did live one. So I decided to go Heatran, expecting the Gleam, but he makes a really good play and clicks Thunderbolt. But he gets a really high roll, so I guess he thought he would be able to kill me, but I knew it was a really high roll and it was unlikely he would get it again, so I just stay into Lava Plume. And I do a good amount of damage and also get the burn, which is really good because we were able to keep it low. And here I was just going to spam Lava Plume, so in case he decided to spam Roost, that, you know, I would be able to keep him low for Latios. And here I go into my Rillaboom. Not sure why I didn't go into Lottie, because I feel like if I went Lottie and click Psyshock, you know, I'd still be in like with the, like, I wouldn't have to make any reads or something. But I decided to go Rillaboom, maybe because I wanted to give him more kills. And here I finally make a read, and expecting him to save his Coco as a sack for Lottie to get in Primarina to have a shot at beating me. Because at this point, Scarf Psyshock is looking really good, but I wasn't sure if it killed Primarina just yet. So I wasn't, you know, 100% sure. So, but I made the call that he would save his Coco, basically, as a sack. So I make the knockoff play, I get that right, the Salazzle's gone, and now I can just click Grassy Glide and win, because the Coco is going to die to rocks. So it comes to Primarina, and I can take it out with Grassy Glide and give Rillaboom some more kills, because obviously I love Rillaboom, and the monkey go Burr. So yeah, pretty fun game. Nice 3-0 win. I definitely wanted Wishy-Washy to get a kill, but unfortunately we weren't able to. But you know, we were able to use like Latios, Rillaboom, Heatran really well here. So that's pretty cool. He did have a really interesting team because Coco Garchomp is definitely scary. But you know, I guess Rillaboom Clefable kind of covers Garchomp, huh? Even though they're both weak to Poison Gem. But yeah, so that we're now up 4-0 and halfway through the tournament. We just need 2 more wins to be guaranteed top cut, I believe. So yeah, things are looking pretty good, but obviously we're going to get tougher and tougher opponents from now. So yeah, I'll be back with round 5 in a bit. Time to jump to our round 5 game, and we were up against Pi, who was also 4-0 at the time, and with a pretty scary team. Here's a roster of Coco, Dragonite, Kartana, Slowking, Nidoking, Stunfisk, and he had us Crafty on the bench, which is really important because my team prep kind of relied on Crafty showing up. But basically his team is Tapu Koko, enabling a bunch of threats, because Dragonite's a huge threat, Kartana is a huge threat, Nidoking's a huge threat, right? And Coco and Slowking are just like the best pivots to bring those in safely. And Stunfisk is just, a really good flying resist and stuff, and then Scrafty was like the dark type on this team. So yeah, this build is what I was most worried about, because there was a lot of Cocos drafted, 74 in fact, and the most threatening ones were not the Coco itself, which was where you were able to U-turn and go into a ground type breaker. Garchomp was okay for this team with Rillaboom, Crobat, Lottie, Clef, but Nidoking was the really annoying part because I just see on my team, if Nidoking gets in on Clefable, he can click the freest Ice Beam of his life because I have 5 months weak to Ice Beam on the screen, as you can see. But anyway, we have some really cool prep for this as well, so let's jump into it. Starting off, we have a Rocky Helmet Rillaboom with Knockoff, Grassy Glide, Lead Seed, and the tech Focus Blast for the Kartana. So far, I hadn't seen anyone run Focus Blast for Kartana or run Focus Blast Rillaboom in general, so I feel like I might be one of the first people, so I was kind of proud of that. But this is our well, basically I thought Rillaboom didn't really have a good matchup. I debated about Sword Stance, but I can't really break Dragonite with Sword Stance, so I felt like it wasn't really worth it. So I figured Lead Seed, like Knockoff Focus Blast, seemed really good because obviously I can stay in on the Kartana. I've definitely seen some Kartanas run Synth, SD, and kind of just stay in on like Rillaboom, right? Because Rillaboom can't really like beat it if it is bulky, and obviously giving it terrain, so it's gonna hurt. And like I don't really kill Nidoking from full if he's bulky. So yeah, and like Dragonite just seemed like a really good switch in, and the best I could do is like U-turn. Like U-turn was better, so I just felt like defensive Rillaboom was really good. Next up we have Banded Crobat, and this is the only set I have no explanation on why I brought it, given there's Tapu Koko and Stunfisk. So 2 flying resist, and one of them which can definitely para me. I don't know why I had this, but I know it was putting in work in mocks, and like it felt good, but yeah, I'm not like I couldn't explain this last time. I didn't really upload this video because I wasn't able to explain why I was banded. But yeah, we banded Crobat, which is kind of weird. And it's Brave Bird, Cross Poison, U-turn, Defog, I believe. Max speed because we are not taking any risks with Coco. Next up, we have a really interesting Latios, which is Expert Belt, Future Sight, Ice Beam, Thunderbolt, and Roost. So basically, I kind of expected this Crafty to come. I wasn't sure what would come. I mean, Spadef Slowking is a pretty good check to Latios for sure. But, like, it is kind of easy to wear down the Slowking because I do have a pretty safe pivot into, like, Moltres on the Slowking. So I thought maybe this Crafty might show up. So the point was I click Future Sight because he doesn't really have a good, resist, and I go into my Clefable after as this Crafty comes in, and now something has to take a Moonblast plus Future Sight. So yeah, that was basically the strat. Otherwise it's really good, faster than Kartana of course. And Ice Beam is also pretty solid, and Thunderbolt for the Slowking. Next up we have a Custab Berry Stunfisk with Rocks, Endeavor, Discharge, and Earth Power. It had enough bulk to live a Life Orb Nidoking hit from full, but basically the point of this was Coco is gonna U-turn a lot in this game, and I felt like I didn't want to reveal an item because U-turn into Nidoking, the moment I reveal not to be Shuka or an item, he's gonna go Nidoking, right? And I kind of want to stop that because Nidokings are really like annoying for my team. So I wanted to have no item so that I could bluff Shuka. And the other thing was, with U-turn, and if I get into range, maybe he'll just click Ice Beam because I have so many ice weaknesses, and to cover like the Latios. And he won't kill me and put me in Custab range, and I should be able to Endeavor something and bring it really low, which definitely enables like Latios and stuff later. So that was the plan with the Stunfisk. Next up, we have Gale Moltres, another interesting set. We're running Agility Weakness Policy with Stabs, Fairy Wrath, Hurricane, and Snarl. If the Coco is special, I can click Agility as the Coco comes in because that's his only swap into my Moltres. I can click Snarl and then his Thunderbolt or Dazzling Gleam is gonna activate my Berserk, not kill me, even if he's like Specs, and activate the weakness policy, and now Fury Wrath kills him, right? That was basically the plan with Moltres. I wasn't sure if it would work because I know he was gonna be I felt like U-turn Coco was really like a given here, but I wasn't sure if it'd be like Dazzle, Roost, Thunderbolt U-turn or like Wild Charge U-turn Roost or something. Wasn't sure what he would be, but if he was Special Coco, which a lot of people brought in mocks, I thought this Moltres was, had a chance of popping off. And lastly, we have another Unaware Clefable for the Dragonite. We are running Moonblast, Heal Bell, Knockoff, and Soft Boil. If you can knock off the Nidoking, that would be great, because once the Life Orb is gone, we are able to pivot in on Nido a little easier, but if you're not, then it's a pain for sure. Heal Bell so that a Crobat can Brave Bird a little freer, and, even if you get paired. So yeah, and like to cover like Slowking Thunderwave and stuff. So yeah, let's jump into the match. I was gonna lead off with Crobat, no matter what, I guess because I was Bandit, as he does lead the Coco. So, but I guess this does tell me the speed right away, which is pretty good, because I decided to swap into Stunfisk, as he also makes the swap into his Stunfisk, and because I swapped first, which is really important, at worst it's a speed tie, but I feel like given the nature of my team, this Coco is likely to be bulkier, and creeping the Lottie is what I thought it would be. So I was like, next time I'm probably going to risk it and click Cross Poison. So yeah, we both go into our Stunfisk. I decided to click Rock. I thought we were just going to trade rocks here, but he reveals to be a NASCAR Stunfisk, because I'm running 40 speed on mine to outspeed Slowking, and he's even faster. So I was like, okay. And he clicks Earth Power and does a lot of damage, and he gets the Spadef drop, which is really a little annoying. But here I thought he would click his rocks now, so I go into Clefable as it reveals the Toxic. A little unfortunate because we do reveal our that we are unaware. And here I decided to click Knockoff, thinking the Nidoking might come in, but it's Slowking with another eject button. So here I decided to just Heal Bell off quickly because I know the teleport's coming and I can't really block it as he goes into Nido. And this is what I was worried about. Life Orb Nidoking in on my Clefable, and I have 5 ice weaknesses, right? I thought he was gonna click Ice Beam. It didn't make any, like, it seemed like the most obvious click because I don't think, he already knows I'm defensive. And Psychic's not gonna kill him, so I feel like the first time at least he doesn't lose anything by just predicting Ice Beam. But my Stunfisk does live one because Stunfisk is broken. So I go into Stunfisk as he does click the Ice Beam. When we're able to live, I always live that, by the way. And now I'm in Custap, and I wasn't sure if he was going to scout or not, so I thought my safest play was just click Endeavor and chip something down. But he does scout and goes into Slowking, which is actually really good for us because, like, even though he can regen it off, I can go into Lottie the moment Stunfisk dies, and he'll be in trouble because he doesn't have Crafty. And his Slowking is going to be at 25% when it returns. So, yeah, like, my Latios has just become a lot better, which is epic. Here I decided to click Discharge, or I don't remember what I killed, but he reaches to be NASCAR Slowking as well, because, so I was like, okay, cool. But here I decided to just go into my Rillaboom, set up terrain, get off my Knockoff, because, that's usually what I do is I try to bring in Rillaboom as early as possible to start knocking off items, because, those are important. I knock off here, this Dragonite reveals to be bulky, so I decided to just click U-turn out. And go into my Latios, because the multi-scale is broken. Here, expecting him not to stay in, and because, he has Stunfisk, Slowking, Coco. I just fire off the future sight. In comes to Stunfisk, I click Ice Beam and do good amount of damage. Revealing he was offensive and fast, because he doesn't have a lot of bulk, because usually my Lottie would not twit kill Stunfisk, but here it did. And here I can just click the Ice Beam again, right? The future sight's in the air, so I should be getting a kill. As he decides to go Dragonite, so that's, a threat gone. I guess it wasn't, I feel like the only threat to my team was like Bandit Dragonite or like Life Orb Dragonite, because a DD one was not breaking Clefable. And, but I guess he needed a defensive one or he would lose to Rillaboom, right? So I guess it wasn't a threat in that way, but Rillaboom does look a little better now because he doesn't have a good resist. Um, but yeah, um, in comes the Coco, and here I make a really aggressive play. Since Coco came in, it's either clicking U-turn to pivot out, or it's clicking Dazzle, right? It's not clicking Thunderbolt on a Lottie that's already revealed to be a threat. So I make that aggressive read that he's not clicking Electric move and go into my Crobat as he clicks the U-turn. That does reveal he's physical Coco because I believe U-turn from like Timid Coco should have done 4 or 5, but he reveals to be like physical at least because that U-turn did a lot more than I thought it would. He goes into Stunfisk. Here I believe I just U-turned out because, I mean, if he static parried me, I could heal bell it off later. But here I just realized I don't really have a good way of like swapping into this because I thought the discharge might come out and I didn't want my Lottie to alt. Like, oh, I guess I could have gone Lottie because it was already toxic. But yeah, I decided to just go Rillaboom and set the terrain as he does click the foul play. So that's good because he takes chip. And here I realized I didn't really have a way of killing this with my Rillaboom. So I was forced to click Glide as he goes into his Kartana, which is fine. And here I was like, oh, he doesn't know. He doesn't know that I have the tech. And I didn't really think he was going to scat for this, right? Like, no way. So I decided to just click the Focus Blast as he clicks the knockoff because he knows I'm defensive. I clicked the Focus Blast and miss, which is kind of tough because now I was like, oh, dang, now he's really going to, like, scout for it. But I decided to stay in and go for it again because knockoff didn't kill me on the second one. So he clicks Sacred Sword and gets an absolute mid-roll, which is kind of tough for him. But if I'm not wrong, this knockoff was a max roll or a very high roll. So I guess overall it evens out. And I did miss a Focus Blast, so I think it evens out. But, I mean, a little unfortunate for him. But we are able to, connect with the tech and take out the Kartana, which I guess was a big threat. Kartana is always a threat if you've played Gen 7 OU. And here I believe I went into Crobat because the Stunfisk has been chipped, so Brave Bird spam was looking pretty free. As he goes Coco, and here I said, okay, I don't think you have max speed, and I clicked the Cross Poison. And I don't know if I want a speed type, but I feel like his Coco was bulkier, just to take on Lottie a little better. So I click Cross Poison and take out the Coco, which is really good. And now I can spam Brave Bird because everything's in range. So I go into my Clefable to sack it off because I don't need him anymore. As he takes it out, and now I thought about just going Lottie and giving it the kills, but I feel like Crobat hadn't done much so far because his matchups hadn't been great. So I felt like, it was time for Crobat to shine a little. So I just go into Crobat and spam Brave Bird. Obviously at this point the game was over because, I also had like Wings with Agility. Latios, which just killed everything because everything was low. So this game was over. I just had to pick who to give the kills to, and I decided Crobat deserved some spotlight. So here we are, Bandit Crobat putting in the work versus Tapu Koko plus Stunfisk and Slowking. Like, that's crazy, right? But yeah, we were able to pick up 4 kills with Crobat actually and win our round 5 game 3-0. I really like this prep as well. Like, we had the Focus Blast Rillaboom, the Future Sight Latios, which I don't think is a very common tech on Latios, but I feel like it's been gaining traction recently. And the Snarl Moltres, which didn't come into play, and I don't think it would have worked because the Coco was physical. But, and the Bandit Crobat, which worked, so, that's pretty cool. But, yeah, 5-0, we just need one more win to top cut, so, yeah, we'll be back with Game 6 in a Alright, we're back with our round 6. We're playing Itsya, who's also another really solid player and has a pretty solid team of relying on regen plus switch. He has a team of Tornadus T, Hydreigon, Slowking Galar, Clefairy, Kartana, and Rotom Wash. And I believe he had Sock and Stunfisk on the bench. So he had a pretty solid team where he figured out the steals on the draft board as well. Like 5-point Stunfisk was probably the biggest. Well, second biggest steal because Gala Moltres was 7. So yeah, this is a really solid roster. Has like pretty good bulk and like pretty good breaking power as well. So yeah, we definitely have a work cut out for us to top cut. But we also have a pretty interesting team for this as well. Starting off, we have the Lure Rillaboom, which is Sword Stance, Knockoff, Grassy Glide, Drain Punch with a Koba Berry. So the point is, we try to get in on something like Rotom or Clefairy, and Sword Stance up, as the Torn most likely is going to come in. Most people also were defaulting to Boots Torn. So the point is, you Sword Stance up as the Torn comes in, you click Knockoff, is they probably click Hurricane. You live and knock him off, and then he's in glide range, and you kill the Torn, and now your Rillaboom's just freed up for the rest of the game, right? So basically, that's the idea behind the Rillaboom. And Drain Punch was for the Kartana. Next up, we have Heatran, which was max HP, max Fizz-Stab, Rocky Helmet for the Kartana, because we didn't really switch into it. We're running Magma Storm, Heavy Slam, Rest Talk, I believe. I was actually Flash Cannon and then realized that Clefairy, which was, if it came, which was going to be Spadef, was going to wall me because there was no investment, so I just changed it to Heavy Slam to do more damage to Spadef Clefairy, and while it still did the same damage to like Glowking and Torn. Next up, we have a Weakness Policy Lottie with Calm Mind, Psyshock, Aura Sphere, and Roost. It's pretty strong here because we have a bunch of targets we can Calm Mind on, and he does have a lot of U-turn and stuff, which can potentially trigger a Weakness Policy. I was initially Colbur, so that Kartana and Hydra couldn't revenge me as easily if there was Scarf. But a lot of people were clicking U-turn with Torn instead of Toxic, which I thought was the better play. So in mock, so I thought, okay, maybe it is time to just make a Weakness Policy and guaranteed get a kill, because at +3, Psyshock is just gonna pick a kill for sure. Next up, we have Stunfisk, which is Spadef for the Torn. We're running Rocks, Toxic, Earth Power, Discharge. Pretty standard set with leftovers, but I mean, we're gonna get knocked off for sure. Next up, we have Wings, which is Rest Talk, Nasty Plot, Fury Wrath. Pretty Spadef. This is a check to Glowking because we don't really have one on the team. But also because it's pretty Spadef, we should be able to like eat hits from Hydra and Torn as well if they're special. I thought about running Hurricane, Fury Wrath, or like U-turn, but the problem was if Glowking was Calm Mind, we kind of needed Wings to break it, because Unaware Clefable can't really beat Glowking, which is like one unfortunate thing about Unaware Clef. So yeah, we're running the Rest Talk plot just to be able to break through the Glowking, but I do expect Spadef Clefairy to be kind of annoying for it, but you know, we have ways around it. And lastly, we are Unaware Mixed Defensive Clefable to cover like Physical Hydra and Special Hydra with the Babiri Berry. We are Moonblast, Knockoff, Heal Bell, Soft Boil, I believe. Didn't really run Flamethrower for the card because I thought Moonblast did enough, and I felt Knocking Off was better, like knocking off the Wildlife from Clefairy or the Scarf from Kartana. I just felt those were better options. As for leads, I just decided to lead Clefable here, as he leads Hydra, which I thought was perfect. Here I thought he was going to U-turn, so I clicked Knockoff, but it reveals to be Life Orb Head Smash, so pretty interesting. It does do half, but I do knock off the Life Orb, so he can't kill me now, so I can Soft Boiled up as he goes into his Glowking. I can go into Wings here, as I believe he just fires off... Oh, he fires off the Hydro Pump. I guess he thought the Heatran was coming in. Here I click Fury Wrath just to like gauge damage as he stays in, to click Sludge Bomb and gets the poison, which is fine because I can rest up here expecting him to not give me Glowking right away. As he goes into Clefairy, as I go into my Stunfisk thinking he might Rocks up, which he does, so I decide to just trade Rocks here as well. And here I think I click Discharge. Yeah, I just click Discharge to get damage on this as he just spams Seismic Toss. So here I make the aggro play into Rillaboom, as he clicks another Seismic Toss. And here I decide to just click my Sword Stance because I didn't think he would let me knock the Clefairy when it was important for the Wings. So in comes the Torn. Luckily I was still out of range of the Hurricane, so I dodge it and click Knock. And this is like the worst turn for him, where he misses the Hurricane. I did live, but obviously he had a chance at critting in Confusion if he hit. And then I knock off crit, which is also really unfortunate because even if I knock him off, I don't kill, so he does have the option of pivoting out like on the glide next turn, which is pretty obvious. So he would be able to save his Torn, and maybe, if he had Defog on Cart or Rotom or Hydro or Torn, maybe he could try to keep it, healthy. But the knockoff crit was just like the worst possible result for him. Obviously, it's too early in the game to say how much it mattered, but I mean, it definitely sucked for him because obviously he could have my Rillaboom really low. But yeah, I feel like I would definitely get one kill out of that exchange, or like he would have to pivot out and give me items on something, right? So not really sure because obviously the Hydra was in glide range. The Glowking died to knock because he was not Colbur. Glide killed the Rotom. I guess Kartana would be his best pivot after. So I guess it was really annoying because, yeah, I mean, it sucks and I'm really sorry, but what can you do? But I definitely don't think if I didn't crit, he would have beaten me because it was too early in the game and we all had, all pieces so far. But he goes Kartana now, and because I'm at full, it's kind of like really bad for him because I clicked the Drain Punch here. As he scouts it, I guess he had a shot if I was Superpower because I would lower my attack and then he would be able to go into Kartana after and try to like maybe set up and do something. But given I'm Drain Punch, it's kind of GG at this point because this is just gonna get a kill and then I can repeat this later and also just kind of win. It's really unfortunate that crit kind of just ended the game. So yeah, really sorry to my opponent, but it's mods, right? What can you do? Definitely, as I said, if he hit and I didn't crit, he didn't win the game, but like it would be open and he would have a shot at winning and he would be able to like preserve a sack and Torn as well if he wanted. And I would be down a Pokemon because my Rillaboom would probably be dead to the Kartana. So yeah, but I don't think the game is over because definitely my Latios was still looking scary, right? Because we know the Hydra wasn't Scarf, the Clefairy was Spadef. So yeah, not really sure, but definitely sucks. But we do clinch top cut with this, so that's pretty epic. As for round 7, we were up against Craig or 100% Pure Heat. We were supposed to play. We had a pretty interesting team with like Skarmory, Zera, Volcarona, and I was really excited. I believe I had Unaware, Power Herb, Meteor Beam, Clefable for the Volcarona, just because I thought it'd be funny and because I didn't want to reveal my best strats. But he forfeited his game because he was also 6-0 and qualified, so he didn't feel like playing, which is fair. But I wanted to play, so I took the forfeit win to be 7-0 up. And round 8, I was also hoping maybe my opponent would just forfeit because, in case of rematches or whatnot. But he decided he wanted to play because he was like, he wanted me to earn my 8-0. And I was like, fair enough, but I definitely didn't bring a serious. Well, I brought a fun team, but which is still like capable of winning, but not super serious because I didn't want to reveal everything in case of rematch. And I definitely was not calculating for this, but anyway, let's jump into it. We're playing Liam or Amukamara. I believe he's another really good Smogon player. So yeah, definitely a fun one. Again, we're facing Lando T, which has been really annoying for us throughout this run. Heatran, Tauros, Moltres, Slowbro, Tapu Koko, another Koko. So there's, as I said, there were way too many Kokos. Again, definitely scary team. I believe he had a lot of Yas, so his team was like pretty similar to ours, just like different breakers, I guess. I don't remember his last one, but as for ourselves, in this one we're running Toxic, Surf, Toxic, Surf, Ice Beam, Protect, Leftovers, Wishy-Washy, I believe. We are offensive Rillaboom with Glide and what do you call it? Are we offensive Rillaboom? I don't remember. Oh, yeah. We are Rocky Helmet and Rillaboom in this with Grassy Glide, Knockoff, Lead Seed, and U-Turn. I guess this is a Lando pivot as well. Kind of a Tauros pivot. Well, I guess it can be a Tauros pivot. Our our Clefable is Calm Mind, Focus Blast, Moon Blast, and Soft Boil. Unaware as well, with Fist F. Focus Blast is just for the Heat Train. It doesn't actually do a lot, but I thought it'd be funny if I clicked Focus Blast and, you know, I did like 50% or whatever it does to Heat Train. Obviously, we don't have Hidden Power Ground or anything to hit the Heat Train with, but I just thought it'd be funny, so I'm running Focus Blast. Next up are Latios, which is just Soul Dew, Side Shock, Draco Meteor, Surf, and Roost. Stunfisk, which is Leftovers, Spadef, Toxic, Earth Power, Rocks, Foul Play. And then our Wings, which is just Rest Talk, Stabbed, Hurricane Fury Wrap. So yeah, let's jump into it. I let off with Stunfisk because he let Slowbro. I decided to just click Rocks because I didn't think the Slowbro would be able to kill me. But he reveals to be NASCAR Slowbro, and which I've already seen a NASCAR Slowking, and now there's a NASCAR Slowbro. And because I did run speed on my Stunfisk. And he is also Choice Specs, which was really interesting. So I go into Wishy Washy here, because I know he's Specs. Or, well, I thought he was Specs. I wasn't sure, but I just feel like way too much damage to a Spadef, Stunfisk. Here I just click Toxic, because I know he's not going Heat Trance, so Toxic's really free. And now I click Protect to Scout as he clicks Hurricane. And here I click U-Turn, I believe. Yeah, I click U-Turn. Just to see what he wanted to do, because obviously I do live a Hurricane. As he reveals the rest, so I guess he's the same set as me. But I'm able to go into my Clefable now because he is asleep as I click Calm Mind as the Heat Train comes in. And here I just click the Focus Blast. And it does 50% exact on the dot. As he clicks Rocks, and then he clicks the Magma. And I click Focus Blast again and hit, so Clefable, you know, is broken. And I'm lucky and bad, what can you do? In comes the Tauros. I didn't think I lived Iron Tail or whatever, so I go into my Wishy Washy. As he does click Iron Head, and it does no damage, which is really good. And here, I believe I click Surf. Yeah, I click Surf, but I don't kill, which is really annoying, because I'm really trying hard to get Wishy Washy a kill, but he just misses out. Here I click Protect to get some recovery back. Also because then I would be out of Body Slam, but he calls that and goes into Coco. And now I click Protect just to get some more recovery. And now I go into Stunfisk because I believe he either clicked Toxic or Dazzle. He clicked Toxic, which is fine. Here I think I click... Oh, I double into Rillaboom, not sure why. I guess I thought the Lander T was coming in? I'm not sure. But I double into Rillaboom as he clicks Dazzle, I guess because he lived the Earth Power. But here I decide to just click Knockoff, or maybe Leech because I'm low. Yeah, I click Leech as the Moltres comes in, so I'm able to get some health back. And now I go into my Stunfisk, not wanting to risk a Sleep Talk Hurricane. As he Sleep Talks and gets rest, so we get a little lucky there. And here, do I click Discharge? I believe I do. Okay, I double into Moltres, I get him. And I click Fury Rat here, I don't kill. As he reveals the Zap Cannon, which is pretty funny. And I'm pretty sure I was Spadef, so I feel like this confirms specs. I don't know, maybe Slowbro is just wrong. Here I just decided to click Rest because I was still faster than the Slowbro. Luckily I don't get fully paired, so I'm able to rest up. And here I know his Coco is special, so I can stay in because I'm Spadef. So I just Sleep Talk. I get the Hurricane, and I think I get the Confusion. I hit and get the Confusion, so I'm lucky. He clicks the Dazzle, and I click Rest Talk again, because if I get the Hurricane again, he dies. But I do get it, but I miss, which is kind of unfortunate, but not the end of the world, because I go into my Stunfisk now as he clicks Dazzle again. And here, I believe I just spam Endeavor just to keep things low. Oh, I click Toxic and miss. And then he clicks Surf and takes me out, which is fine. As I go into my Wings again, and I can just rest up. Yeah, I clicked Fury Rat, I guess. Not really sure why I didn't just rest up. Maybe because I didn't want to risk whatever coming in. But here, the Coco is low, so either he's gonna kill me or he's gonna roost, right? So I just use that to recover or to rest up, and I Sleep Talk, and I get the Hurricane here as he crits me, which is also actually in my favor because he gives me Berserk, so I get a stronger Hurricane. And now he hits himself in Confusion while I roll Fury Wrath and crit. I don't know if the crit mattered, but I do get the kill. So this Moltres putting in the what do you call it? The work, because I'm lucky and bad. In comes Taurus, takes the kill, which is fine. I can go into my Rillaboom and pick it off with Glide, because, you know, he's dead to rocks anyway. In comes the Moltres, and I go into Wishy-Washy, trying to sack him, so I can go into my Clefable and Calm Mind. But he rolls to rest, so again, I get lucky, and my Wishy-Washy gets more health back. He clicks Hurricane and misses, while I can click U-turn. And I believe I can go into my Latios and click the Draco, which should kill. So yeah, in comes the Slowbro, dies to the Souls U Draco, which is epic. In comes the Lando. I believe I go into Wishy-Washy. Yep. As he clicks U-turn. But because schooling happens at the end of the turn, we're able to, you know, stay in schooling. And we can U-turn again as he clicks rest, so I'm able to go into Clefable. I believe I Calm Minded here. I think I Calm Minded. Yeah, but then he goes into Lando, so I was like, oh, I think I just go back into Rillaboom because I didn't want to take damage. Also just to, like, you know, make sure he didn't have something crazy or like crit or bend or something. So I go into Rillaboom, and now I can get off my knockoff as the Moltres comes in. So I get the knockoff, which is really good because now he'll take 25% from rocks, which is really good. I think I went back into Wishy-Washy to try to sack him. I've tried to sack Wishy-Washy like 10 times, but I keep missing. And because of terrain plus lefties, I go back to full. I believe he gets Hurricane now and misses, which is again really unfortunate. So I'm able to U-turn. And I think I go into Latios to take my kill. And I miss my Draco, which is not uncommon. I miss a lot of Dracos with Lottie. As he takes me out, which is fine, as I can go into my Clefable now and Moonblast as he misses the Hurricane, because, you know, I'm lucky and bad. And yeah, that should be GG, because I can sack Wishy-Washy here safely, go into my Rillaboom to set the terrain so Clefable takes less from Earthquake. And yeah, I can just knock him off as well in case he's like Soft Sand, but I believe he revealed Scarf. Yeah, he revealed Scarf. Which means Rillaboom will pick this kill with Grassy Glide. And yeah, so we go 8-0, which, you know, is pretty cool if you think about it. Definitely got lucky, but hey, all the best players in the world get a little lucky, right? I'm not calling myself the best, but, you know, if I went 8-0, you definitely need to have some luck go your way. So yeah, pretty fun run, if I say so myself. We got to play some really cool players. Yeah, not much more to say. I guess I can cover my playoff run in this as well. So give me a bit and I'll be back with the playoff game. Alright, we're back with our round one of playoff games where we're up against Sablo, who's also another established player and has been doing really well in like leagues and DPLs and stuff. And we have another matchup where Rillaboom is really good, so let's jump into it. He has a team of Lando T, once again, another Lando T. Weavile, and I believe this is the first Weavile we're seeing. Thunderous T, Tapu Fini, Bronzong, Mienshao, and I believe he had a Magmar and Roselia on the bench. So yeah, as you can see, his team doesn't really have a lot for Rillaboom, right? Knockoff plus Glide kind of just goes in. I really thought he would bring Magmar or Roselia to try and like burn or poison point, but I guess he felt like those they were too passive and gave up too much, which is fair. Anyway, we're running Swords Dance Rillaboom for sure versus a team like this. We have Swords Dance, Grassy Glide, Knockoff. Is it high horsepower or U-turn? I'm not sure, and we have Protective Pad so that Poison Point or Flame Body doesn't affect us. We're pretty fat Crobat with Taunt, Brave Bird, Super Fang, and Roost. This is basically our Fini check, so we don't lose to Carmine Fini, which is kind of a pain. Carmine Taunt Fini. Our Clefable is Moonblast, Ice Beam, Soft Boiled, and Healing Wish with Rocky Helmet. This is like a Revive, Mienshao, land, like just checks in them just to be physically defensive, disrupt them. And Healing Wish to bring back Rillaboom, which is really good, or Scarf Heatran, which we'll get to in a minute. Next up, we have Wings, which is Weakness Policy, Nasty Plot, Agility, Fury Wrath, Hurricane. The idea behind the it's also pretty bulky, so it does take hits from like Mienshao, Lando T, Thundi, Feeny. The point for this Moltres is that hopefully we can lure in the Feeny, which is its only resist to like Fury Wrath, like because Weavile doesn't really want to take it. And if we can chip the Feeny, then it's really good for a Scarf Heatran clicking Eruption, because he doesn't really have a good fire resist either. His fire resist is Tapu Fini. So basically the idea is if we can overload his Fini with Moltres early, then Scarf Heatran endgame is really possible once we get the Mancha out of the way. Next up we have Scarf Heatran with Eruption, Flamethrower, Flash, Cannon, and Nature Power. I don't know the last one. Finally, we have Stunfisk with Foul Play, Rocks, Discharge. I can't remember the last move. I feel like it was something for Thundi, so I'm not sure if it was like Rock Tomb or what if it was called for the Lando. I'm not really sure, but I think it was an attacking move. Maybe it was Earth Power. I don't really think I needed Earth Power here, so I'm not sure. Anyway, as for leads, I was going to lead the Wings. The only bad lead for me would be Weavile, but I have a Clefable for it, so I'm not, terrified. So yeah, let's jump into it. As he leads Thundi as I lead Wings. Here, I didn't really think he would be physical, because, like Stunfisk is there, and so I thought he would be like Thunderbolt or whatever, or he might click Knock or U-turn. So I decided to just click Agility, as he does click Knock. So I click Nasty Plot because I know I live with Thunderbolt. As I do, and I go to +3, so I fire off the Fury Wrath thinking the Feeny might come in, but the Mienshao comes in and lives on 4. And here, because I'm a chicken, I just click Fury Wrath again, because, 100% accurate move. So he's able to pivot into Weavile. Here, I know the Ice Shard's coming, so I decide to save the stack and go into Clefable. And here I fire off the free Moonblast. Not sure why he went Lando first, and not Bronzong immediately, but he clicks U-turn, and I thought Lando was a threat, so I was carrying the Ice Beam. And here, unfortunately, I do get a freeze, which is a little annoying for him. If I didn't get the freeze, I would have swapped off my Clefable into Stunfisk, but because I got the freeze, I decided to be a little greedy and get Soft Boiled up to full, so I can check the Mienshao and Weavile, easier. And then I go into my Stunfisk as he does Thaw, so I guess it didn't matter too much. I'm not sure, it definitely mattered because I wouldn't have stayed in, but luckily he Thaws, so not the end of the world, it's still 6v6. Here I go into my Fisk and I can fire off the Rocks to get them up. As he goes Lando, as I go into Crobat, because he's either clicking Earthquake or U-turn, so I go into my bat. I was also Infiltrator, so for the Intimidate, and here I click the Brave Bird as the Bronzong comes in, so I Super Fang as he clicks Earthquake, so I guess he was expecting the Fisk. Here, I didn't really think he was going to click Psychic. If anything, I thought he was thinking Toxic or Future Sight or something. So here I click Taunt. Not sure why, but I guess to keep him low in case he had some weird tech like Rest Talk or something. So I click Super Fang again, because he hadn't revealed Psychic move. As he clicks Rock Tomb, which is fine because I still take him out with Brave Bird. So that's good because, he has less and less sacks to Rillaboom now. In comes the Mienshao. I decide to sack off Moltres here, and keep my Crobat for later, but he is able to regen up his Mienshao, which is a little annoying. In comes the Thundi, so I can go into my Stunfisk. And I believe I clicked Foul Play here, because it does a good chunk to Thundi. As in comes the Feeny. Here I decided to just click Discharge. I was not going to let him set up for free. Because the way he brought it in and didn't really lefties, I thought he would be, what do you call it? Rindo as a lure for Rillaboom. So I go into him and glide and he lives an Ice Beam and kills me, because obviously his team is really Rillaboom weak. So I decided to just get my chip on this, so and Stunfisk is really fat, so obviously +1 surf does not kill. so we are able to discharge and keep it low. And now he clicks Moonblast, but we live, so kind of a choke by him, or maybe he thought the Rillaboom was coming in so he could get chip on it. So we're able to discharge and bring it even lower. And this works out in case he was cuss tap or something, you know, then we can check, but he takes us out now. But here I can just go into Rillaboom and click Glide. If he goes Thundy, we can just stay in a knockoff after, and then Glide will kill him. So yeah, we get rid of the Feeny. In comes the Thundy. This doesn't kill us from full, so I just decide to stay in a knockoff. So that, you know, he'll be dead to Glide after rocks now. And here I go into Crobat expecting the Sludge Wave, as I, you know, do. And here, deciding to sack off my Crobat, I decide to just Brave Bird and get chip, but unfortunately get a, well, fortunately for me, unfortunately for him, I get a crit, which really sucks for him because one, he loses a sack, or, you know, whatever. He loses momentum as well, like positioning, because he has to send out something, which enables me to, like, either know something is Scarf or get positioning, or but, like, yeah, this is really bad, the crit. In comes Mienshao. I just Brave Bird as he reveals to be Scarf, so he's able to regen up some more. But again, as I said, this gives me the positioning because he goes Lando, because otherwise I would Brave Bird and he would kill me and I would have to go into something, so he gets the positioning. And obviously what you call it, the terrain was running out, so if I go Rillaboom to Revenge, then I have to swap out immediately, so, you know, it's a pain for sure. But now this is almost perfect timing because the Crobat dies as terrain runs out, so I can go into my Rillaboom and everything's in range. So he doesn't really have a swap for my Grassy Glide. So he goes into Mienshao, and it dies, and in comes Lando. So basically, because of the crit, he wasn't able to Intimidate Shuffle my Rillaboom, which kind of sucks for him. Because now, even with the Intimidate, I do live. He has Cuss Tap, which doesn't matter because Glide's priority, so I'm able to take this off. And now I believe the Revival comes in, and he's not Boots either, and he also cannot kill my Clefable and, like, Scarf Heatran anyway, so there's GG with Rillaboom cleaning up once again. So yeah, crit definitely sucked, but I don't think it was the... I don't know if it was game-changing enough, because Scarf Heatran was still really, really good. I guess it would come down to how I played, what I decided to revenge the Thundy with, right? Because obviously if I go Rillaboom and Glide, that gives him Mienshao or Lando, because the terrain would run out, and I get to... Because obviously Clefable could win as well, but definitely he could have a way where he could win by critting or flinching, like Crash or something. I'm not sure, but I also did have Healing Wish on my Clefable, which I don't know if it would have come to be useful, but definitely Scarf Heatran. I would probably revenge with Scarf Heatran, and then I believe he would go Mienshao, and I would just stay in to know if he was Scarf or not. He clicks CC, he could definitely get Flame Body Burn as well, if maybe. But if he clicks CC to revenge, then I can go Clefable and I get a kill with Moonblast as well. Back. And then I believe Clefable plus Rillaboom should be enough to win, because obviously Clefable is not dying from full from anything. So yeah, unless he was like Bandit Crash with Flinch, then maybe that would be his win con. But yeah, I don't think the Crobat crit changed the end result too much, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Sorry to my opponent. But yeah, I thought this was still a really fun game, and I feel like even though our techs didn't hit, I feel like our build was solid enough where we were able to win, even though not all our techs hit, which is really cool. And obviously we got to clean up with Rillaboom once again, which is really cool. So yeah, let's jump into the next round of playoffs where we are up against Axelraid, who has a team of Swampert, Scizor, Salazzle, Hydreigon, Tapu Koko, and Uxie. Really solid core, and he has a lot of pivoting options. And we definitely know Salazzle was really annoying when you faced it round 4. As for this, our team consists of a Restock, Moltres with Fury Wrap, and do I have Hurricane or U-Turn? I'm not sure, But I definitely know it's Restock Spidef to cover the Salazzle, the Uxie, maybe Hydra as well. We have another Unaware Clefable. I believe it's Babiri Berry as well, with like Moonblast, Flamethrower, Soft Boiled, maybe Combined, or maybe like Heal Bell or Knockoff, something like that. Arladios has sold you with Mystical Fire, Draco Meteor, Sidekick or Side Shock, Roost. Heatran was it Scarf? I'm not sure what the Heatran was, but it definitely, I mean, it had Flame Body, Fire Move, Ground Move, Dragon Move. Crobat was like just the usual utility. Like U-Turn, Heat Wave, Brave Bird, Roost, I believe. And then Stunfisk, Rock, Spidef for Coco as usual. So yeah, let's jump into it. I believe I let off with Stunfisk, which was really good here. As he leads with the Stunfisk, as he leads with the Salazzle, as I just get up my rocks. And now I can go into Moltres because he didn't Toxic, so I can just go into my Wings because I'm Restock. I believe he clicks... Oh, I thought he clicked Protect, but he clicks the Sludge Wave. And here I just click... Oh, so I am Fairy Breath Hurricane. And here, expecting the Protect, I just click Rest as he clicks another Toxic. And here I can just burn my Sleep Talk because Salazzle cannot beat me. Yeah, I click Sleep Talk and I get plot. Oh, I'm Mono Hurricane. I guess he doesn't have the best Hurricane resist. Here I go into Stunfisk just to scout if he's physical or special Coco as it reveals the Nature's Madness, which is fine. I believe I can just click Toxic, which is free. And here, expecting rocks, I believe I click Pain Split, but he clicks the Ice Beam. Not really sure why. I thought it would be like Flip Turn or something, but he clicks Ice Beam, which works out as we're able to Pain Split and get back to a good amount of health. And now I go into Latios expecting the ground move as he clicks Earth Power, which it works out for us. Here I click Draco expecting the Uxie, which is like, you know, his best check into Latios, but he just sacks off the Swampert, and which doesn't get up rocks, so that's really good for us. In comes the Hydra. I just go into my Clefable, just in case it was Scarf, but he clicks Nasty Plot, so I was like, okay, I can just click Moonblast here. He clicks Flash Cannon, but we are unaware, so it doesn't matter. And the Hydra is gone. In comes the Salazzle, so we can just go into our Wings. As he subs again. So I go into my Crobat here, as he clicks Sludge Wave, which is fine. And here, I believe we just click Brave Bird, right? Yeah. We can just spam Brave Bird here. It's like good chip on everything. In comes the Uxie. As I Brave Bird, and it does a good amount of damage. And now, I believe we just... Okay, I guess we didn't have U-Turn. Here I go into Wings, expecting rocks or like Psychic Move or Knockoff. So he U-turns into Scizor, but I can go into my Heatran as he Bug Bites and gets burnt. And now I can fire off a free Flamethrower? Yeah. So I can just fire off the Flamethrower. Uxie cannot do anything to me, so I believe I just stay in and click it. We are also faster, so that works out. In comes Salazzle, who can also not kill me, so we can just click Earth Power to take this out. And yeah, this is looking like GG because Coco also doesn't beat us, right? I guess if he was Calm Mind, he could, but he already Real Natures, so we're able to take him out with Earth Power. And in comes the Scizor, which will die to the Flamethrower. So yeah, this is a little bit of a wash. So I guess, I don't know. I mean, we definitely had help in our matchup, and I was definitely struggling with the matchup because he had a lot of pivoting, which was getting really annoying, especially if I wasn't able to get up my rocks earlier. So I definitely had to change some things around where I could punish the pivoting, but because he didn't bring like a pivoting team, he tried to bring like a more bulky, toxic stalling team. It really worked out for us because we were rest talk and like we had more recovery than him because his team doesn't have a lot of recovery outside of like Scizor, Hydra, and Coco, but those were not in as much because we had pretty good checks to them. So yeah, we went 6-0 and we can progress to round of 8, so quarterfinals, I believe. where we end up facing Rai, who is our nemesis, because I've never beaten Rai. I believe it's 0-2 at this point before this game. And Rai is a really solid player and a really good friend of mine, so this will definitely be fun and also challenging. Rai has a team of Torn T, Kaparaja, Haxorus, Rotom Wash, Mienshao, Globro. I also believe he had a Stunfisk, if I'm not wrong. I think he had a Stunfisk anyway, because he should have a ground type, right? Yeah, really scary team, and he would be really popping off with like Haxorus, and had some like really pretty interesting builds, and he'd been like killing it in the competition. So this will definitely be a challenge for sure. As for us, this week we're running Life Orb Bloody with Future Sight, Draco Meteor, Earthquake, and either Aurasphere or Roost. I'm not 100% sure because it's been a while and I don't have the paste. As for Rillaboom, we're running our Lure Rillaboom again, so it's Sword Stance, Knockoff, Grassy Glide, U-Turn. Does really well. Again, if we can get rid of the Torn, then also we can get another kill, unless Haxorus is alive, because obviously first impression has more priority than Grassy Glide. Next up we have, I believe, Kibia Berry, Unaware Clefable. I don't know. I was really torn on what Clefable to run here, because obviously depending on the set, Haxorus could beat it for sure. Because, you know, he could be Sword Stance, Mold Breaker with Poison Jab and just take out the Clefable. Because the Unaware doesn't matter. I really debated Magic Guard Sash, but it didn't really do much in my opinion. Because obviously Globro is a pretty good check to it. So at the end I decided to be Calm Mind, Shadow Ball, Moonblast, and Soft Boil with Unaware. Hoping to beat the Globro 1v1 with it if I could later. And yeah, like Fizdef for the Mienshao and Haxorus. I debated Flamethrower, but it didn't beat Globro fast enough, so I made a Shadow Ball. Next up, we have Wings, which is pretty interesting because we're running... he doesn't really have a good swap in for Wings on his team. I don't think he had a Fairy, or if he did, it was a really bad one. So its stabs are really good. And obviously, like, Rotom and stuff don't kill it, so it's like tough for them, right? Because you don't want to activate the obvious weakness policy. So I thought his best check to this would be like Spadaf Kaparaja, like AV Adamant Kaparaja. Because you can run Sheer Force Play Rough and not activate Berserk as well. And obviously kill, just outright kill, right? Because Kaparaja is really strong. So what I thought of doing was running Black Class's Fury Wrath into Foul Play, which would kill the Copper. And I don't think he would scout it because he would, you know, it's unlikely. It's very rare to see Moltres run Foul Play, especially when its offensive matchup is so good. But I was really struggling with, like, because Fury Wrath was doing like 20% to AV Kaparaja, or 30%, so it didn't seem like it was worth. So I ran the Black Glasses Foul Play. I did also have to run Black Glasses to get the kill, because Kaparaja is so damn fat. But I thought it was a really cool tech, and I believe we were Agility in the last lot, so Fury Wrath, Hurricane, Foul Play, Agility. Next up, Heatran, which was just Scarf with Eruption, Flamethrower, Flash Cannon, Dragon Pulse, I think. And last, we have another defensive Stunfisk with like Rocks, Earth Power, Discharge, Toxic. So yeah, let's jump into it. As for leads, I was just going to lead Moltres because I thought it was my best lead for sure, to try and get some chip early. Because also, if he uses Rotom Wash as a switch into Moltres, then I can get my Heatran Scarf Eruption game going quicker. So yeah, let's jump into it. I decided to lead off with Moltres, as he does lead off with the Haxorus. I wasn't sure what to do here, because if he was like Banded Outrage, that was kind of scary because I could die. But obviously if he wasn't, then I lived and I could just Foul Play him and like basically kill him, or close to kill him. But I just felt like this was a little scary, so I just go into Clefable, as he makes the play into Copper. So at that point I wish I just clicked Foul Play, because I could Foul Play him and then Foul Play him again, and then Fury Wrath or whatever, and he would be dead. But yeah, here he reveals the rocks. I was like, oh, he's not AV Copper, so which was good to know. So I get up my own rocks if the Haxorus comes in. And here he also reveals to be unnerved, so I guess he thought it would be Magic Guard Clefable because Unaware didn't matter. and he could Iron Tail or Poison Jab me, whatever, so the berry wouldn't matter. But here I decide to just Earth Power. I do get a crit and a Spidef drop. Spidef drop doesn't matter, but the crit definitely does. Um, Obviously here, I couldn't really swap on the Haxorus because this thing is so scary. This is like one of the dragons that gives problems for Clefable. Most of them do not beat Clefable, but this definitely gives problem. So here I decided I would just stay in on Haxorus no matter what. So he clicks Scale Shot and does kill us, but the defense drop does mean he's in range of Glide, which works out for us because, you know, if we didn't crit him, he wouldn't be in range, so I guess that kind of worked out. And here, calling he would swap, I make an aggro play and click SD as he goes into Torn, and here he does reveal to be Boot, so we can do our knockoff again, as he does miss, which is really unfortunate, but because he missed, and I'm at full, and I mean, obviously Hurricane doesn't kill because we're Cobra Berry, I can just click knockoff again. If he had hit the Hurricane, I would click Glide, but he misses again, which kind of works out in our favor, because we're able to take out the Torn and keep our Rillaboom at full. In comes the Haxorus, and I'm gonna scout for the first impression, and I go into Clefable, as he does click the first impression, and here I believe we just soft boil up to heal up, or do I go into Heatran? Oh, I make the aggro play into Heatran expecting the Poison Jab, and we're able to, and I can fire off the free Eruption, because we get the healing back from the grassy terrain. As the Rotom comes in and reveals to be really Spidef, because he only took 28%, so I go into my Rillaboom. As he reveals the Reflect, which is a really good bring, because I had him bringing Defog. So this was definitely a really good bring by him. And here I click Swords Dance, just, you know, to, because I didn't think the Rotom, because I thought Reflect, Light Screen, Volt Switch, Hydro Pump, I didn't really think Wisp or Foul Play was coming. So I click Swords Dance so the Glowbro comes in, and here I kind of autopiloted and clicked Knockoff, and then immediately, and for once, because Riot usually takes his time, that's why timer's on really quickly, but I wanted to cancel and click U-turn, because that's what I've been doing in mocks, because a lot of people have brought Weakness Policy Glowbro, so I would always U-turn into Heatran, which covered like, you know, Colbert, Glowbro, or whatever. So I really wanted to cancel and change, but as you can see, Riot clicked this really quick, so I wasn't able to cancel, and I saw this nothing to cancel, and I clicked the knockoff into the obvious Weakness Policy, and I get rolled by the Sludge Bomb, which is really bad because Rillaboom was looking really good at winning this game, but I just threw him away for no reason, because if I U-turn into Heatran, it basically covers any play that Glowbro can make. Like Trick Room is covered, since Earthquake will not kill me, so I can fire off a free Flamethrower or whatever. And if he clicks Sludge Bomb, then I get to fire off my free Eruption, right? And he's forced to go into Rotom, take Rocks plus Eruption, and then it would be dead. But yeah, I definitely messed up there. Here, I believe I still fired Eruption because I'm gonna get the recovery back, so he sacks the Haxorus, so which is good play by him to preserve the Haxorus for this. In comes the Rotom, and I go into my Latios because I'm not gonna 2-hit KO him because I know the light screen's going up. And here I click the Future Sight as he clicks the Pain Split, which is a little annoying because he gets back to a good amount of health because I thought he would go into Copper. And here I click the Draco to bring it down, so now he's in range of Eruption once the screens go out. In comes the Copper. These screens are really annoying because I will not get the chip I need on him. But I do Earthquake, do a good 30% as he's able to play rough and take me out. And take the Future Sight, which does 11 as he reveals to be Spidef lefties. I go into Heatran, and I believe I just Flamethrower. Yeah, Flamethrower. I was trying to basically chip down the Copper because at this point I realized the only way I can win is with either Clefable or Moltres, and both of them need the Copper to be weakened. So I decided to just go into Heatran to try and get it. Here I didn't really have a scout. Well, I guess I could have gone into Clefable, but he had a pretty free Copper on it because Light Screen was up. So I decided to scout for Scarf. well, so I decided to check if he was covered for none. As he clicked CC, I don't know if he got the burn. We didn't get the burn. A little unfortunate. We go in here to bluff that, you know, we're pretty bulky because I haven't revealed what my wings is. So he swaps. As I just click agility on the swap out, and here I was like, oh, foul play should do a lot of damage, but it only does 48 because he is running careful or calm, whatever nature. Careful, I think. Max HP, max BDF. He's not running adamant as I thought he would. So I get a pretty low roll, I think, and then play rough was a roll to kill in my favor. Like, I believe he had a very low chance of killing me, but he does get the roll. So it's a little unfortunate because we're not able to chip this down in range of Clefable. Because if we were, we could have definitely won with Clefable because we were Calm Mind, Shadow Ball, Moonblast. And I think we would be able to get past the rest of his team. But unfortunately, we aren't able to chip down the copper in range. So, yeah, and we don't have Flamethrower. If we have Flamethrower, maybe we could have also done it. But unfortunately, that was it for a run. This is a really good game. It's also a lot closer than you think it is because if the copper was dead, I definitely had a way of winning with Clefable, right? Even I could have won with wings, potentially, because the Rotom was weak. If I hit my Hurricane on the Mian Shao, I could have won, like if the play rough didn't kill. So this is definitely a lot closer than it looks, but yeah. Huge props to Rai, really good team by him. Screen's Rotom was really good into Weakness Policy Global. That's definitely saw it. And this copper set was really good that he was max BDF and not adamant AB as I thought he would be. So yeah, huge props to him. Really good, solid build. And I definitely had fun, even though I lost. It was definitely a great run, and we did end up 10-1 overall, which is still really good. And as you can see, we ended up 8-0 plus 25, which I thought was really good. And I was really proud of my run. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed and you liked the prep and plays I had. I felt like I was in form during this, and I did pretty decently. Definitely got a little lucky at some points, so, but it's Pokemon, right? But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you stayed for the whole thing, you guys are the real ones. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye.